On my kicker tonight, JSC must take off the political side mirrors, to pick the next Chief Justice. Eyes of millions of Kenyans will in the next few weeks be trained on the Judicial Service Commission, JSC, as it goes about the motions of selecting the next Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court of Kenya. It goes without saying that this is, or ought to be, a solemn process, almost as weighty as that of the selection of a religious leader. But few would envy the JSC. The Commission has just received 13 applications for the position of Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court. But it is quite telling that not a single application was received from the current judges of the Supreme Court. And on this, I can only make assumptions, or at best, speculate. It should be really curious that all of them, all the 5 of them, took no interest in what ought to be a normal function of the career ladder. I would make assumptions that all the 5 are very happy where they are, and that they'd rather leave the big job to an outsider to come and be their boss. I would also make the assumption that these 5 judges know better either about the job of Chief Justice or the process of getting there, that includes televised or sometimes very grueling interviews before the JSC. But let me also speculate. Now, we all know retired Chief Justice David Maraga had a rough, even humiliating time at the office, and matters got worse when the Supreme Court nullified the August 8th, 2017 presidential election. Together with 3 other judges who sit in the Supreme Court bench today, they were profiled and targeted for harassment for their decision. The treatment of Maraga and the 3 other judges must have been sufficient to discourage applications from at least the 3 of them that are sitting in the Supreme Court tonight. Yet the absence of any applications from the Supreme Court should be a subject of introspection for the JSC, as this could well be a silent opinion of the judges on their levels of confidence with the JSC. The handling of the Maraga transition was in itself an indictment of the JSC, the whole affair being clouded by politics and intrigues, all centered around who should replace David Maraga. The atmosphere in the judiciary has in the recent years been openly toxic, something that must have had a hand in discouraging even more suitable applicants. Without the Supreme Court judges, the JSC still will pick a Chief Justice from the list of 13. It will be interesting to see the factors at play in the selection process, and particularly the politics. Will the JSC rise above the obvious clash of political interests? Will the JSC walk out of the long shadow of that threat to revisit and pick a Chief Justice that will protect the independence of the judiciary and serve the interests of Kenyans, and all Kenyans at that? How about that ugly monster of ethnicity, that tribal software that tilts things in favor of the narrow space of community rather than country? These are some of the questions that will be in mind as Kenyans observe events at the judiciary for the next few weeks. Whatever the outcome of the process, the gains, particularly on the independence of the judiciary, must be a priority of the JSC and the next Chief Justice, whoever that may be. And the starting point for the 9 commissioners of the JSC that will pick the Chief Justice is: get your eyes off the political side mirror, because objects always appear bigger than they actually are. That is my